Hi, everybody. Welcome to Music Mondays with Alia School of Art. Please, we're excited to share with you guys this next guest. He is a personal friend, but other than that, he is also an entrepreneur. He is the man behind Me Entertainment. And listen, I've just about seen him do it all. He hosts, he sings, he performs. Um, he's an entrepreneur, a father, and you want to hear what he has to say. Stay tuned. If any of you have ever faced any challenges in your walk within your industry, whatever it is you're doing, you could be a dancer, you could be a singer. You want to stay tuned. Listen to the story and what he has to share with us today. Without further ado, my name is Renee West, for those of you who may not know me, and I'm representing Alia School of Art, where we are impacting our community's social, emotional, physical, and spiritual needs through arts and education. Please check us out online. You can check us out on our website, which is www.aliaschoolofart.com. That's ALIYAH, School of Art Singular.com. You can shoot us an email at the same address at aliaschoolofart@gmail.com, or like us and follow us on social media, Facebook and Instagram at Alia School of Art. We're so grateful to have you guys here with us again. And without any more delay, Sonny the Host, how you doing?
I am great. How are you, Renee? How is everything going with you?
Oh man, I'm excellent. I'm excellent. I'm happy to have you. We finally caught up with you.
Indeed, indeed.
I know you're super busy, but we're just honored and we're grateful to have you with us today. Thank you again.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Great to be here.
Awesome, awesome. Well, I know you have an amazing story to tell, and I'm excited to share it with the world. So, before we get started, I just want you to be able to tell our audience listeners a little bit about yourself and what it is you do and what compelled you into the world of music.
All right. Well, I am Sonny the Host. I am professionally known as Sonny the Host. Name and under business is Vincent Wood. I am owner of Me Entertainment, which is actually me, period, because you get me, period. You get all of that energy and personality. So this is Me Entertainment Corp. I am a singer, songwriter, performer, artist, host, MC, director, and just creator and curator of the Sonny the Host show. P.S. I hear you in many different events. Don't get me to running them down the list right here. But and just full-blown entertainer and father, and lover of life, and a God-fearing man. And amen.
That's excellent. Now, what compelled you? What was it that pushed you into the music industry? Because I know when I met you, you were hosting, but you were also singing and performing. So, like, how did you get from that transition from just being an artist to working within the music industry?
It it was it was definitely what it was, and it is, and continues to be. Um, uh, 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 how should I say, heaven sent or written already. I've always been a personality. Growing up in a musical household, growing up in a creative household, and always being pushed to be the best you, go for your dreams, go for your goals, and don't hesitate on them at all. Um, it was like it was created already. It was already written. That path was kind of sewn up right there. The background, I started in music first with my family. My mother, who was has a singing background. My grandmother that has a singing background. Um, my sister, who is a producer, singer, songwriter, producer, photographer, and painter. Um, a girl made this. You know, my just a very musical background. So it kind of like fell into place. I've always been a personality, though. I've always been, because I've had the background in acting also. My background, stand-up comedy, acting, and theater. So I've always been a personality. I've always enjoyed acting. I've always enjoyed comedy. But I became Sonny the Host because my passion is people. I love people, and I always tell that those, stand-up comedy, acting, theater, they're just tools to outreach to people that God has blessed me with, because my passion is people. I love the encounters. I love the conversations. I love the feedback, whether it be negative or positive, because this is how you learn. You know, I always tell people, you can't learn from just the positive. You understand from the positive, you learn from your negative. And it feeds you. It feeds you. Perspectives are a big thing. And I once again, that's something that I preach a lot, is that if don't be afraid to say, I don't know, because I don't know grooms you for different perspectives and experience. Another thing that that's attached to me saying is, it's 26 letters in the alphabet, which means it's 25 ways to get to Z. It's not just that one that you know. It's 25 ways to get to Z. So if you only know 3, you got a whole bunch more to learn. So don't be stuck on that, what your experience and your perspective is the only, because it isn't. It isn't. And be willing and open to say, I don't know. Let me learn. That's how we grow. Yeah, just to push on that. So yeah, I got into music that way. And then I grasped on it gradually when I snowballed into I was with a group, Imprint, and we were singing. And the thing that messed me up with the group was dancing. I was just not the best dancer of the group. Dancing became a headache for me. So it got to a point where, you know, I just, and no ill feelings, no ill intent, no bad wishes or bad blood, but I just separated myself from the group. And I ran into a gentleman, Isaac Ham, call him Big Brother now, but Isaac Ham of I Am 3 Media. And, you know, we had a great conversation. It was like a 5 o'clock in the morning conversation. And he said, you know what, I have a show that, you know, my host, I just kind of like let my host go. And I was doing it, but I love your personality. And I know that you are a personality from some of the other things that you've done. Would you mind coming to host? And I hosted his first one, and it was a little shaky. Had to get into it and understand who his people was, where it was, and everything. Just the venue that was Hidden Soul, and that was the name of it. And we did the second one. And when I did the second one, before I got up there, I said, okay, this is you. You've already seen the venue. You already recognize the people, the format. Now add you to it. And when I say we had an amazing show, some great artists, local talent, and a few features. I believe it was a feature from California. She came down and performed, and we had a great show. And from then, I'll never forget Isaac, call it Izzy Ike for short. I never forget him walking up to me. He said, okay, so you kind of dope. We're going, you know, do you want to continue this? And it continued from then on. This is a long story, so I'm hoping I'm not being too long with it, but just a real quick to add on. So we went from there, and I did a stand-up. We had a show, and I had been hosting Hidden Soul for about, I want to say about 3 years this far. And we had a show at Warm Daddies, which is in Philly. And it was a group that was coming out, industry, and they were just, you know, just working on, and it was a packed house. It was so many people there. Everybody was there. It was just a packed house. And I was, you know, hosting and emceeing this event. And they gave me an opening. And everybody knew I sang, but nobody knew the stand-up comedy background, because I did stand-up comedy in different areas, Pittsburgh, Atlanta, different places. So I got on the stage, and they told me, they said, before we got on, they said, hey, we had an act pull out the day of. It said, it's about 15 to 20 minutes. Can you do something there? Can you sing? Can you sing out if it's track? I said, I'm not going to sing. I'll do something else. So I got up there and I did a 15-minute stand-up and shut the house down. And left a few jaws dropped, because nobody knew that I had the comedic background. And we had a great jokes, shake weight joke and a Winnie the Pooh joke and so many others. And we were leaving out. And I tell this story. This is why I tell this story, because not only did it introduce the comedian, Sonny the Host, but after we left that Warm Daddies, it was after the show, nobody wanted to go. We had such a great time. Everybody was just looking for where's the next spot. Isaac came again, he pops up, he said, well, listen, I know this spot a friend of mine, Will Compton, has. And we went down to downtown Philadelphia, at 17th and Walnut, which was the Walnut Room. And when we got there, Isaac Ham introduced me to William Compton, and they had some already great artists already in the building, just standing around. They were trying to kick off their open mic. I want to tell you, the artists that were there were already traveling musicians. So we had our traveling musician, Kurt Chambers, who is Eminem's Eminem, Rihanna, I do believe Janet at some point, and just to name a few names, the guitarist, their guitarist. He's definitely Eminem's personal guitarist. We had a few musicians there that had played for some great names already, but they were just playing. So they added, they said, hey, let's add Sonny the Host to the roster. Hey, Sonny, would you mind coming down and leading Walnut Room? And this became a legendary thing in Philadelphia, which was the Walnut Room. We went on for about, I want to say for about 5-6 years. And yeah, that's when it really made the mark. I think everybody really recognized, oh, hey, Sonny the Host is a problem. Like he was okay with, he was a cool guy when we knew him while he was singing and performing, but somebody messed around and gave him a mic by himself, and he showed out and showed every bit of this God-given talent. So and that's what snowballed me in further into this business of entertaining.
Okay. Wow. Oh my goodness. So I let me remember Trina Farabee, right?
Yes, Trina
Uh-huh.
Furby.
Oh my
Oh,
gosh. Luke Carlos O'Reilly.
yes,
I
yes.
mean, there was like everybody was down there. I'm trying to think of who else. I
Oh,
mean, some heavy hitters.
it was. We had yeah, you just named a few. Trina Furby, Luke O'Reilly. We had Trey, uh, uh, Trey drums. I'm sorry. Trey is a drummer for names in Philadelphia. Meek Mills. He just did Lil Durk, and he's a traveling drummer, traveling musician. We had some great singers. Ashley Howard, Chartel. Oh my goodness, we had Marsha Ambrosia. We had Ty Tribbett. James Fortune is a good guy. Close friend of mine. It came down. It branched off to Sinbad. I remember Cuba Gooding Jr. came down at one point. Bilal came down.
My God.
Just
Yep.
some amazing names. I never forget when you know that a run is happening and something good is happening. When I had a amazing legend in his time and will continue to be a legend, DJ Active called me and said, hey, Sonny, I got Chrisette Michelle right here. Are we good? All right, what time should we come through to Walnut Room? And I said, listen, you come through anytime you want to. You can come right now if you want. But yeah, he had called me and was bringing Chrisette Michelle. I had Lettucey came down. I have a couple of funny stories with her. But Lettucey. So we just had a lot of great names come through and just rock out, just have a great time with us. Yeah,
That's
one of them.
that's amazing. You know, and the interesting thing about the Philadelphia scene, even though it's not a super huge scene, but you never knew who was going to come through.
Never,
And
never.
and like you said, because the artists, I mean, we knew them around the way in Philly, but because they were working with so many big name artists, you never knew who was going to come through. um Robert Glasper, you know, like you just never knew who was going to walk in walk in the doors. And I have a funny story. I know this is not about me, but um I was new to the whole music scene because I was coming out of theater. I was coming out of the CAD department, and then I had shifted to theater, and I know what I want to do. But anyway, so I was new to the music industry, and I didn't know who Trina Ferry was. And she got up and she said, "Who wants to scat with me?" I didn't know who she was. I'm up there scatting with her, and like later, once I got to know her and how incredible and like phenomenal she was, I was like, "Oh my God!" Like had I known who she was, I would have never like stepped to the mic. Yeah, so I mean, those were definitely some great days, and I'm excited that you had an opportunity, to participate in it and to bring that to the forefront because I know I certainly enjoyed myself. Now, you said something earlier that I wanted to ask you about, and that was if you don't know, just say you don't know and be willing to learn. And I just wanted to bring that up because when I was coming up in artistry, there was a saying that if you didn't know, fake it till you make it. And to be honest, that got me in quite a bit of trouble. But can you go back and explain a little bit further why it's important and why it's also okay as an artist to say, hey, I don't know.
So there is a point where we all don't we're just not sure, we don't know, and if we do not address that properly, you can find yourself working against whatever you are planning to do. You could, and I don't want to just say yourself, I mean a long-term plan. You can find yourself working against that by not understanding and not being willing to say I don't know will box you into that not understanding. And it's like when they say about lies, and they say one lie is going to compound and lies and lies and lies. So pretty soon you're living in the lie when your truth, after a while, if you do lie, after a while you find that your truth would have been a better a better lane to take than this long lane that you got to go down with lies, where the truth would have put you right off. You probably would have went 1 mile and then went right off the exit and you'd have been fine. So I'm saying that to say, I believe that term, and I was getting that term too, hey, fake it till you make it. But nobody gives the rest of that. And that was fake it till you make it accordingly. And what I mean by that is a lot of times I'll explain this a little better. I began emceeing. So I with my entertainment company, I have MCs, and I also MC for weddings and bar mitzvahs and the concerts, festivals, different productions, and everything. And I remember going into a bar mitzvah, and this is my first time years ago, first time doing a bar mitzvah. And I said, they asked me, say, have you ever done? I said, yes. Lies. I've never in my life before then. I didn't even know how to spell mitzvah. I was trying to sound it out. I was spelling something weird. It was weird. It was just, I didn't know anything. So, but I would tell them, yeah, because it was another saying that I had was one, don't say you can't do anything. That's one. And that the only thing that separates you from a millionaire is knowledge and will. That's the only thing. That information. And then we're at information highway. Like you can get information on everything anywhere. And so it got to that point where I said, okay, I don't know, to myself, you don't know. Are you willing to learn? Be willing to learn. So my don't know at that time came to myself, to be honest with myself and say, you don't know, be willing to learn. So you don't know, and I don't know comes in so many different forms, but you have to be willing to say that. And that's the rest of that fake it till you make it. Because to yourself, you have to, then I own self be true. You have to be true to yourself and say, I don't know. So you can understand what you're walking into. But they gave us fake it till we make it, like lie to everybody. Lie to everybody, yourself, everything, in every possible way. And I'm like, well, yeah, those lies compound and they go further and further down a longer road that you wouldn't have had to take. But I push to say I don't know. Please be honest with yourself. Be honest with your life, because these are the moves that you have to respond to. Okay, these are the results will hit you hard. They're gonna intimidate your life. if you continually lie about it, if you continually not be honest about it, if you can continually not understand something and move forward to it, and if you don't take that time, you'll only run into that brick wall for yourself, because other people are doing what you're not doing. And they're not running into that brick wall. You will, and they will be happy to step over you and keep on walking. And your grounding and your support system should be right there with you. Always have a support system. God first, and then your family and friends, and after.
That's excellent. And I think it's also in certain instances, not always, but sometimes you can say, I don't know, but I'm willing to learn.
Indeed.
If you're willing,
Indeed.
you know, to give
Yes,
me the
always.
chance. But you're absolutely right. You can fake it until you make it, until it doesn't work. And then it just leaves you with a terrible rap. So, which is worse off. You should have said you didn't know. And I just want to repeat what you said. The only separation between you and a millionaire is your knowledge and your will. I love that. Excellent. Now, before we go further, we have a few more questions that we want to ask you, but we just want to give a shout out to your sister, Vanessa Nettie Woods. A girl made this. Guys, if you didn't get a chance, please check out her interview. We did do an interview with her. Amazing story of just triumph, of being picked on, of going somewhere that she never went before, had no idea what was going to happen. But now, guys, she's producing with Brandy, Diana Ross. I mean, people that will blow your mind. So definitely check that out if you get a chance. So we want to talk a little bit about your music, but let's get into something a little bit personal. So you told us that not only you're an entrepreneur, not only are you a singer, you're a performer, you're a host, you're a comedian, which I didn't know. But I would love to hear some of that someday. But you're also a father. Now, tell us about that. Would you have considered yourself a young father?
Yes. I had my daughter. We had my daughter when I said I'm sorry. Let me let me take that back. I didn't go through those labors, so the labor hours. So her mother and I, had our daughter when I believe I was just cusp of 30. And I consider, now this is why I consider a young father, because you can say age, some people say age, but I go mentality. And it's all about your growth. And at that time, I had not had a lot of growth. I have not had a lot of growth. I was in this field and being pulled in so many different ways, so many different ways, and kind of being, I believe I was at like a real high point. I was at a really high point in my career, and it was a lot of learning still going on. So then to incorporate a child in that, I was like, wait a minute, I wasn't even ready for this mentality, this way of thinking, this responsibility. I would love a kid. I was like, oh, I would love for a child. I would love to have a child, and I want a daughter and whatever. But I mentally just that was as far as it got. I was in awe with, oh, let's the child and have a girl, and oh, it would be so beautiful. And then the mentality had to set in, and I said, oh, and I had to learn a few things that would help me, not only help me grow, come to find out in business, but help me grow more as a person, as a father, as a man, and a thinker and a creator.
Wow, that's amazing. And I love what you said there. I don't think that there's many men that would admit that, but it's not about the age, but about the maturity. That's excellent. Now tell us a little bit about you and Baby the Host and what you guys do together.
So awesome. I'm so glad you threw Baby the Host out there. Baby the Host. So I've always, like I said, I knew I wanted a daughter. I grew up with all women. I never had my father in my life. Never consistently. We had a father that was in and out of the life. And I've learned from him how to be the father that I want to be, not the father that I had. And I was invested in making my daughter smile. I always tell this story. I want to give this, it's a personal story right here, which helped me grow so much. My father was in and out of my life. And it was one moment, one time where I was young, and I mean like single digit. I had to be like 5, 6, somewhere around there. And my sister and I, we had a few other brothers and sisters, and we were kind of together, and we was cousins, and we were all together. And we were on a bunk bed. I never forget. I'm looking off because I'm like reliving this right now. I'm sorry. Uh, but we were on a bunk bed, and I we used to have this like game when the one a few times that father came to pick us up and we would go with him. We had a game where he would cut the lights off and he would come in and he would be Tickle Monster. And we knew when that light went off, it was like click, click. And we were like, oh, daddy's coming in, Tickle Monster. And he would come in and tickle the top bunk and tickle the bottom bunk and tickle the top bunk and tickle. And we just enjoyed that so much. It was just a little tickle, a little playfulness right before we went to bed. And that little moment stayed with me, stay and still till this day, and will continue to stay with me. And that helped groom the idea of just that little moment. That was right. It was only about 10 minutes right before bed. Just that little playful quality time between father and children, father and kid, father and son. And I said that stayed with me my entire time. I could tell you what the paint looked like on the wall, to the sheets on the bed, to the covers, to how he would walk in, what the light fixture looked like. That never left me. That always stayed with me and embedded and branded in my heart and mind, because I knew I want to continue to make my child always feel like that, because I also had the other when he was not there, that I knew that hurt is what I never want my child to ever have to experience. So I'm going to elaborate and push for these smiles and these activities. We do a lot of different things, and I'll get to that. But this is the reason why, because I wanted to. That was that special moment. That was to me the makeup of what a father should be for his child. In the, if you want to say, on the surface, that was just, and it was just the surface thing, just that little bit of time for a surface, but it went so deep. So for my child, when she came out, it was automatic. I was in love. It was a responsibility, a love, a connection that I never knew I could have. You know, I'm a focused. I like to commend myself on being a focused man, person. And when she arrived, it was a focus that I didn't even know existed. I tell a lot of people, you know, they say, "Oh man, I got my nieces and I got my nephews and I got a plant and I got a dog and and I'm like, listen, you can't. Nothing compares to when you have your own child, your own child, your responsibility, that love and connection. Um, you can't compare. You can't compare. And like I said, it was a focus that hit that I never knew, a level that it was like a game. It was an off level that I just didn't even know was even part of it. It was like, oh, wait a minute, this is a different board. You know, this is a surprise. And it was so amazing. So that understanding from and connection from my father, that happy moment, I said, here we go. I want to elaborate on that. I want to make her life full of these happy moments. So we began to YouTube. My daughter, I want to big up to her right now, Maya Marie Wood, aka Baby the Host. I gave her that name because I knew we would always be connected. She would. That's when she came out. It was so funny. You know, it's that point where the mother was like, "She looked like it. I did all the labor. I did all this pushing and all this time on this bed and that." And she came out and she looking like you, like spitting image. And it was you know, just those little hilarious moments that but I grasped it, you know, we laughed at it, but on the side I was like, yeah, that's my baby. He said, you could tell you annoyed me because the baby looked just like you. You know, that little saying that people say, you must have got on her nerves. Baby look just like you. But no, those all those little connections and when she, like I said, when she arrived, we were super connected. So I knew at that moment, I said, this is the time. This is when I get to implement all that happiness. And it started with the nickname Baby the Host, which became her brand. Daddy was already Sonny the Host, and we had Baby the Host, and we began our YouTube playfulness. So, you know, in this time of social media, media and documentations, um, another thing to add on was that if anything happens to me, I want her to know, not just by the stories that people tell, but documented visually, like you and your dad's connection is amazing. You guys did so much together. You uh, uh, videos, arts and crafts, you know, the educational piece of it. You know, she was learning Spanish, you know, Spanish and German. And shout out to my mother; she has that background in early childhood education, and my grandmother also. So they would, when I was, you know, working, building, they would push that for, and you know, kids are sponges, so we have videos where she's saying her counting in her all the way to 10 in Spanish, in German, working on her visual, you know, visual depictions or visual um, uh, sights and sounds. And these things are documented in a playful way, which not only became just our connection, but we became her brand. And so then for everybody knew Baby the Host as, what are they going to do today? Are you guys going to cook? Are you guys going to talk? Are you guys going to speak? Are we going to learn something? Or are we just going to go on an adventure out to an event that daddy has to host or MC or just attend? And I began taking it everywhere for that reason, because it became her brand. And that was the Baby the Host brand, of following close by dad, Sonny the Host. So yeah, it's my baby. Hi, Maya.
That is so sweet, and we love mine. She's so beautiful. So, guys, check them out on social media. You'll see them doing workouts together,
And
and
everything.
all kind of things. It's so cute. She's growing up so fast. She sounds like an adult. my, oh my goodness. Well, we're almost out of time. We have about 10 minutes, but before I want to ask you some questions about your work in the music industry. But before we do, quickly, what's one word that you would say to fathers who are in the industry, or fathers who are artists, or fathers in general?
Um, Quickly, I would say one word: understanding and staying grounded, knowing that you are not, your work is your work, but your personal is who you are. So when you work, leave that with work, because that is not who you are. That is not who you are. That is what you're working on. So continue your work, but when you get personal, stay grounded, stay with God, and continue to love and continue to understand who you are and what you want.
Excellent. Well said and well put. So, first, could you briefly tell us? We know that you do a myriad of things. You're a jack of all trades. But as far as the music industry, what are some projects that you have worked on?
So projects that I have worked on, uh, man, all right, let me try to run through these. uh, we have the Willenboro Jazz Festival. We have the Del East. I've orchestrated and directed a few artists for their performances at the Del East. A few names for their business. I'm not going to say their names because some of the work that I did was in the background. And but Del East, we've had the Mind Connections, the Sonny the Host show, which brings different artists onto the stage, such as Little Mo. We've had Danny the Canes, D Woods. We have Pooch Hall, who you might have seen on The Game. He was one of the lead actors on The Game. And Lance Gross, which is actually going to be, might be letting a little cat out the bag, but he will possibly be one of the next features on the Sonny the Host show. And just a slew of different projects. I can't even run them all down right now. I'm trying to think of them all right now, but slew of different projects. We have a few artists coming out of Philadelphia uh, that you may hear me on their EPs, and you'll definitely know about the background. I've worked with them with their social media connection, marketing, and different events and shows that they will be performing on. Alexis Marche, we've got Bino, just Bino French. We have Frenchie, a few other great artists that'll be coming out of Philadelphia that you're soon, very soon, if you have already heard about them, you soon will be hearing about them worldwide.
Excellent, excellent. Doing big things. We're proud of you. So that being said, can you share with us one encounter you had that was challenging within what you had to do in the music industry?
A roundabout of music, acting, theater, comedy, everything. And as a person, did a stand up in Pittsburgh. I was hosting it was a Pittsburgh Comedy Festival, and we had the feature Honest John, well-known comedian. It's been in a comedy game for years, and a few other Pittsburgh comedians. And I had a heckler right on my set. I had a heckler. Yeah, and I always, when I come on stage, I come with my segue. Hey, you got an invite, you got a flyers, your sister, baby, your niece, uncle is performing, whatever the case may be, you came out to have a good time. And my right makes some noise, and the crowd makes noise. Now, when I say put your hands together for whatever I say put your hands together for, I need you to do so. If not, and I normally have a cordless microphone or a long cord, and I walk around and I say, look, I'm not attached to the stage. Please don't let me say put your hands together and I see you not put your hands together. Then I have to come stand next to you and figure out why your hands don't work like everybody else's. I don't want to do that. That makes you a part of the show. I don't want you to be a part of the show in that way. I want you to enjoy the show. Now, I always get at least one or two insubordinate folks that didn't hear this PSA at all. So we're going to applaud right now for you there. And I'll pick the sound engineer or the band or just somebody or something in a room, or myself if worst case possible. And I do this so that to let people know, we don't want to make that a frustrating show. Applaud and show that love. You came out to have this good time. Do not condemn your own good time. Do not. And if you choose to, do not interrupt anybody else for doing that, because here we don't want to, but if it has to become a excusing yourself or just to highlight you at that moment because you don't know how to show some love, we would do that. So with all that being said, I had a heckler and we were in Pittsburgh and I had a heckler, and this gentleman would not stop. And we did a few jokes and we played around, but he would not stop. This is why it was so challenging, because I had to elaborate, and I am not one to talk about somebody's person or hurt your feelings. I don't want to ever take away from my character. And that was that moment when it was challenged. It was challenged, and it was challenged to the limit. And I had to choose either break yourself and respond and lose yourself in this moment, or stay true to who you are and find a different way to deal with it. Right then and there. You don't get any time to step in the back and breathe and take a second. You have to deal with this right now while you're still speaking, because you still have, and this was seating. It was a huge bunch. So we had about, I think it was about 1,200 people. And I had to make that decision right then, because he was just at a point where he just could not stop. Nobody retrieved it. And I made a decision to not condemn my character, not to tarnish my name, brand, and not to be thrown off and disrespect my own image and what I've built so far. And I had to do that in this way. I had to bow out, let him be, and continue on with the show during this disruption, which was incredibly hard because I had to really tune him out. And it was so challenging. Like I said, he went to the limit of interruption. And I always told myself, I will never, I'm proud of you, but never let it get there. Never let it get there. And know that and now you know that these challenges are out there. So now you can prepare yourself. So that was the biggest challenge.
That is so incredible. And I really applaud you just for being the bigger person. That's something else. I tell you, really takes character integrity to be able to do that. Well, we are just about out of time. We got to get to our fast five. In a moment, we want you to let us know where we can find you and Baby the Host on
Indeed,
social
indeed.
media. But I have one last question. If maybe you can answer it in under 2 minutes. So one thing that is intriguing about the music industry, or maybe the art industry in general, is that a lot of times bad behavior is applauded. Substance abuse, promiscuous behavior, like you said, coming at people, being dishonest. There's so many different things that are often applauded, and people often feel like they even have to exercise this type of behavior to get to where they need to go. What's one thing that you would say to an upcoming artist in regards to, or in other words, let's take it back to you. What's one thing that you do that keeps you grounded, that keeps you from, like you said, crossing that threshold, or drinking the Kool-Aid with everybody and believing that this is the right way to go?
I'll try to say this and modify it from this long-winded story I would add to it. But I would have to say it goes back to, once again, when Maya was born, and learning and understanding that then you have a responsibility. Because remember, I said at that time I was still I was at a heightened moment. So I was still learning a lot of different things. And at that time I was learning, you don't have to travel with the crowd. Be as important as you are, as you were built to be that. The crowd will follow you. And then Maya came, and it was like, now you're responsible. Now you have to be responsible because you are now a father, and you still have that understanding that you just learned of the crowd will follow you. So groom yourself, keep yourself where you can be looked at, respected, loved, and as a man, and standing 10 toes on the ground and a chest puffed out and say, I am a man, I am a responsible, loving father, and I will walk and act accordingly. And hold on to God. Stay in prayer. Stay in prayer. Stay in prayer. And I say this to everybody: stay in prayer, because I continually pray to walk accordingly and be that 10 toes on the ground, chest poked out, head up high, responsible father and man. And your artistry will follow that, and the people will follow you. Do not get sucked into what everybody believes. You have to walk accordingly, pray, and know where you want to go, because that's how you don't stray. Know where you want to go, prepare for it, and walk accordingly. I can't say it enough. Walk accordingly and pray.
Oh my gosh, that's excellent. I love the way you answered that, and I just want to throw this out there. Listen, if you don't know who you are and you don't know where you're going, then anything and anyone will try to put that on you. So that's so important, so incredibly
Indeed.
important. Well, are you ready for your fast five?
All right, let's go. I'm ready for it. Let's go. All right.
Okay, again, so fast five. You have 5 seconds.
Okay. All right.
I'm gonna ask. I'm gonna ask you 5 questions, and you have 5 seconds to answer each.
Okay.
All right. Number one, favorite comedian.
Eddie Murphy.
Oh, okay. Can quickly why?
I'm not starstruck by people, but Eddie Murphy is Raw. I grew up on Raw, Delirious, and I just thought he was amazing at acting. He's an amazing actor to do characters, the clumps and whatever. He's just amazing. He's an amazing creator, actor, and he tries. He tries it, and he mostly succeeds. Eddie Murphy.
Excellent, excellent. Number 2, favorite gig.
Favorite gig? I would have to say the Sonny the Host show. The Sonny the Host show. Yeah.
Okay,
It's a
that's fair.
variety show.
Number 3, favorite family outing.
Would be, I would have to say park. Just the park, just a casual park. Maya loves the park, and it is a great time that we like bond. So park.
That's beautiful. We love the part too. Number 4, favorite artist and why.
Favorite artist. I would have. You know what? I gotta give you one that's not of today. That's God rest his soul. But my favorite artist is Donny Hathaway.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Oh my gosh, Donny Hathaway. He had so much pain, but when I say when he used his music to give you that. His voice was melancholy and it carried over everything. And he was in the room and you could hear whatever he was going through, whatever he was thinking about, and whatever he wanted to execute, he executed it perfectly, sultry with that melancholy voice. Donny Hathaway of all time.
Absolutely. Okay. Last question. Least favorite thing to do.
Nothing.
Okay.
That's my least favorite thing to do. Nothing.
We gotta rest sometimes.
Yeah. Well, when I say do nothing, it means I believe in being productive. And that's what I mean. I'll elaborate what I mean by nothing. You have to get that rest, but I mean like the rest is productive because you need the rest to continue to move on. But I mean when I don't subscribe to lazy behavior. We are put on this earth. We on this earth. We are built specifically for a reason, which was already written. And if you choose to squander that time, which is so valuable and we can't get back, if you choose to squander that time, you have taken away the blessing of life that you were given. You have squandered that blessing so much, because here is where you can be the best that you are supposed to be. And I gotta take it here, but bring all men unto God. That's why he gave you this time, this life, this talent, so that you can bring, so that you can be that amazing voice. Do not waste. So nothing. Doing nothing is the least. The least. Do not. When you work. Be on this earth and live for what you are supposed to do, and go for it. If you don't know what you're supposed to do, the best time is going to be figuring it out. But doing nothing, you're just wasting. You're existing. You're not living.
Man, I love it. I love it. This has been an incredible interview. Sonny the Host, again, thank you so much for joining us. Before we get ready to go, you have to tell us where we can find you on social media. Do you have any, and also let us know if you have any upcoming projects you want us to support.
So all the upcoming projects will be on the social media, will be on the website. You have me Entertainment Inc.com. Me Entertainment Inc.com. You can check that out. The website, you can go on me.ent_. That's a Instagram. Facebook will be Sonny_the host, or Sonny space the host. Anything you type in, put an underscore or put the space in, Sonny the Host will pop up. If you have any problem, just Google Sonny the Host and it'll pop up. You can Google it, it'll pop right up. And all upcoming events, shows, productions, they will be on the website and on the social media. Make sure you follow Facebook, Instagram, webpage, and I'll see you there.
Awesome. Well, I'm excited, guys. Be sure to check him out, like him, connect with him, and be sure to look for Baby the Host on there.
Indeed.
Well, we are so excited, guys. Thank you so much for joining us this evening and participating with what it is that we're doing. Again, this has been Music Mondays with Renee West, your CEO and founder and host, and Sonny the Host, jack of all trades. And again, please check us out, follow us, like, tag, share on social media. You can find us on our website, Instagram or Facebook, social media, Alia School of Art. So we hope to see you next week. We're going to have another artist. Please join us at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on YouTube or Facebook Live for Music Mondays. Thank you guys again. Bye-bye.